And many Michiganders longing for financial relief as a result of the pandemic, especially right now in the midst of holiday season. Presents and preparation may have to take a backseat to putting food on the table. So joining us now, two members of the Michigan Congressional Delegation, U.S. Representative Debbie Dingell and Bill Huizenga. Good evening to you both.
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So let's get right into what most Michiganders who are struggling right now want to know. Where do we stand in terms of more financial aid and a stimulus?
Well, I guess Bill's going to let me go.
Debbie, go ahead. Yeah.
Look, okay. I do think that we've had some major breakthroughs in the last week that Republicans and Democrats know that we have to do something. President-elect Joe Biden has told Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer that waiting until January 20th is too late. There have been a lot of discussions. We have two things coming together at the same time. The budget for the government runs out on December 11th. I think, Bill, let Bill speak for himself, most Republicans agree that we cannot afford a government shutdown in the middle of this pandemic. There are a lot of discussions and negotiations going on, and we may have another week or two added on. But I just think our job is to get something done, and I'm hopeful that we will be able to come to agreement on some package that will give people immediate relief until we can do a longer package in January.
Congressman Huizenga, do you agree?
I believe that we have an urgency that's there, but this is not a new urgency. And Debbie and I are truly friends, and we have a trust relationship. And that is unfortunately not always the case in the Capitol. And quite honestly, I think the Speaker has violated that when she was passing the quote unquote HEROES Act, the $3 trillion bill, and said, this is it. It has to be this. The White House had come back with first $1 trillion and then $1.5 trillion and then more. And then now to send a letter to the Senate with Chuck Schumer to say to Mitch McConnell to say, well, the $900 billion problem solvers proposal needs to be the blueprint is just stunning. And today she told the Washington Post, well, now that the election is over, we can actually settle for a smaller number. And that is just unconscionable for the small business owners and the workers of Michigan who are having to make these choices that should not be made.
Yes, and truly, with circumstances ever changing. Do you see differences in both sides of the states, like your respective sides for Michiganders? And if so, what are they?
Well, I can tell you that over on the west side, we've got pockets of prosperity and pockets of real dire situations. Now, some of that depends on what the industry is. Construction's doing very well. Manufacturing is doing well. Ask any restaurant owner, ask any small venue owner, whether it's for wedding banquets or small concert venues, anyone connected to tourism. They are just not hurting. They are they're on their last legs. And that's what's been most disappointing to me is that we've had this allocated but unspent Paycheck Protection Program money that the Speaker refused to take up and use. Now it's going to be part of probably an omnibus bill, but we're wasting time on cannabis and big cat legislation this week. And we need to get at this for the citizens of Michigan.
And your thoughts, Congresswoman Dingell? Yes.
Well, I agree with Bill on what he has said. First of all, when we do talk about both sides of the state, this entire state is hurting. And all of what Bill just said, add small businesses, people, unemployment's running out at the end of the month. People are scared. They are being hurt. We have food insecurity in places that you've never seen it before. We have to do something. I would also say that the Republicans in the Senate have been very reticent, unwilling to come. And a month before the election, we're saying absolutely not going to do anything. And President Trump did his own job of sending mixed signals. I don't think we can afford to do this. And Bill and I agree. We do trust each other. we've got to deliver for the people of Michigan. That's what our job is right now. It is getting worse. The numbers are higher. Hospitals are at capacity. You're starting to see shutdowns in some states. We've had the highest number of deaths we've seen every day nationally since this began, highest number of cases. We are in a serious, severe situation. We have to act. And I think I wish we could act today. But we can't leave for the holidays until we get this done. And I do believe we will get something done in the next couple of weeks. Not fast enough, but
yeah.
I agree with Debbie on that. As you can see, I'm actually headed home from the airport and pulled over. I'm in my car.
Oh.
I wish I wasn't heading home, frankly, for the weekend. We're going to be back on Monday, but I wish we would have been able to make more progress. And we need people of goodwill and good faith getting in there and doing this. Again, I don't blame Debbie on this, but man, I don't know how the Republican leadership in the House and the Senate can trust Speaker Pelosi at this point, though, in many ways, with what that number is going to be if she's going to continue to move the goal line. That's the feeling that a lot of us Republicans have.
Wow. Well, and we hit on so many things, and especially the desperation that we're feeling as Michiganders. We're seeing it play out in homes and of course in businesses, restaurant owners this week saying, hey, we may have to stay open anyway. What are your thoughts about their stance?
Well, I love Andiamo, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to go right to, and I do DoorDash from them at least once a week. But we do know, look, today the CDC put out that if you are not in your own home, if you are indoors, you need to wear a mask. That is my one message to everybody. You have to wear a mask. When you look at the new modeling, the number of deaths we could see by February, by April are staggering. There is one simple thing we can do, and that's to wear a mask. I know Governor Whitmer did not want to shut these restaurants down. We can support them by ordering takeout if we're lucky enough to be able to afford it. That's how I've been trying to support them. But I don't want to. I've known too many people that have died this year. I've had more than 30 people that have been relatives or friends that have died. I don't want to see anybody else die. So we got to work together. If we'd all just wear our masks, we could all contribute very significantly to reducing community spread.
Is the promise? Yes, Congressman Huizenga?
I was just going to say, yeah, we don't have an Andiamo's over here on the west side, and I understand that was sort of, they were trying to organize a little bit with some others, but we've got restaurant owners on this side of the state, coffee shop owners, breakfast shops, that they're trying to figure out how in the world they're going to survive. And when the federal government hasn't stepped in with the help like they had previously, and we have these absolute orders, they cannot survive just on takeout. And so we've got to come up with some accommodation. Many of them believe a 50% or even a 25% capacity can keep people safe. And I think that is something that ought to be up for discussion. But the governor doesn't seem to want to have that discussion.
Well, Congresswoman,
I'm not quite sure that's fair. And I will also say, Glenda, that restaurants, I think, will be part of, we do need to help our restaurants. I mean, they are desperate. And I talk to my restaurant owners every day, and their shops, just like Coney Island and the Donutsville are two of my also favorite shops. This is very tough right now. We're having to make very difficult decisions, balancing a lot of factors. But in the end, I don't want to see anybody else die. And I think health reasons are what's driving this, but we need to give them economic help right now too.
And that is certainly the bottom line. So, Congresswoman Dingell, we heard you say that you are optimistic that this will be worked out soon. Can either of you, both of you, leave us with some optimism about how our state will rebound?
Well, I think if we can build on what has been happening in many parts of the economy and the sectors of the economy that can operate safely, construction. So again, we should not be shutting down construction or outdoor work and those kinds of things like it happened last spring. But we've got to build on that to make sure that those tax revenues that are coming in to local government, state government, and the federal government are actually there. That we cannot just continue to have shut down and send them a check from the government. We've got to do it in a safe manner and as low risk a manner as we can. But I am optimistic that with the right help, these smaller venues, these restaurants, coffee shops, have a chance of surviving. But I'm afraid that there's going to be a significant number of them that are going to be going out of business. We need to mitigate that as much as possible.
Now we have no choice. Bill's and my job is to work together and to get something done. The chair of the Federal Reserve is actually a Republican, has said that we must invest in our economy. I think this is, I don't know that we disagree, but I think that when President-elect Joe Biden becomes president, he knows that the first thing we have to do is to have a national COVID strategy. We need to have an interim strategy right now to help people. But we have some dark months ahead. The vaccine is there. We have to invest in our economy, and together, if we all work together, we remember as community and as united, we're strong. We will get through this.
Well, thank you so much, Congresswoman Dingell, Congressman Huizenga. It's encouraging to see your friendship. And we need all the help we can get. We appreciate you both for joining us tonight. Hope you have a safe holiday season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Dave.
bye-bye.
Good discussion, Glenda. Thank you for that.